Hey, I'm Jade Halliwell, and this podcast is all about spilling the tea. I'll be showing you a little more to me than my life as a country artist, and also getting the tea from fellow artists and people in various industries who inspire and fascinate me. If you want to get some advice on self-love, hear about the musings of a songwriter, or understand what it takes to take a leap and start your own business, then this is the podcast for you. As casual as two friends sharing the goss over a glass of their favourite gin, pour one for yourself and join me as I find out what's the G and T. Hello and welcome to episode 3 of What's the G and T with me, Jade Halliwell. On this week's episode, I am joined by Karl Hancock and Gary Quinn, also known as the founders of Buckle and Boots. Today we'll be talking about the festival, their take on the UK country scene, a little bit about Gary Quinn's music and what he's got coming up in the future, and a whole lot more. So pour yourself a drink and settle in. Welcome to episode 3 of What's the G and T with me, Jade Halliwell. I am joined by Gary Quinn and Karl Hancock. Got the boys in today.
Evening all.
Yep, how are you doing?
You probably know them as well as Gary is an artist, but he's part of the Buckle and Boots team. Who's the face at the festival?
Well,
I don't think they're either. They're not here.
that's
They're all around here.
Yeah, that's true. The real
They're better looking.
Well, we will definitely chat about the festival, but first I want to kick this one off a little different because when Kezia was here, I told her it was G&T and I gave her a cup of tea to start off with and she was fuming. So because it's evening, I feel like it's acceptable. I mean, it's always acceptable to have the gin, but I'm going to give you a gin, so I'm going to give you a selection this week. If I can get this without getting the plant. So this one is lemon drizzle cake. I've not actually tried that one, so I don't know what it tastes like.
It's not screaming at
This and this one, Karl, do you recognise it? Jade's
I do,
gin.
yeah. I bought that for your birthday present.
Karl definitely had no idea that this was a birthday present from him. This was down to Laura, I would guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
In truth.
So which one would you like?
I'll try a bit of Jade, please.
I'll go for Jade as well, please.
Don't tell Luke.
So I'm going to give you a really nice pink glass each. Gary, can you assist and hold these?
Oh, dear.
I ain't got any ice, I'm sorry. I'm still trying to figure out how I get an ice bucket here because I had a bag of ice at home, but it's going to melt in it by the time you get here.
Yeah, definitely.
Also, you want more in?
No, put it in the cooler.
Put it in a... This is why we've got him on. He's bringing all the ideas.
Genius idea.
One of the modern things.
I actually also now need to address the tonic I've got. So as I mentioned on the last one, I enjoy a Fever Tree tonic, but when I went to Tesco, they only had Tesco tonic. So I got this, and then I did want to get another one today, Fever Tree, but I forgot until I was in the queue, and it was really busy, and I thought, I'll just nip out at queue, but the guy behind me made it obvious that was not an option, and I didn't want to lose my spot, so you're having Tesco tonic.
Right, nice gin and Tesco tonic.
I don't think any tonic's nice. I used to think I didn't like gin.
Like some pour it in your glass.
You're not getting this one?
You having tea? Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think I used to like G&T, but it's tonic. I don't like.
Yeah, Kezia was saying that. She drinks it with lemonade instead.
Yeah, I normally would have it with lemonade.
Sorry.
Laura thinks that's sacrilege.
You're not getting my rider. It's supposed to be beer.
Yeah.
Well,
did you send that in, by the way?
No, I didn't.
You didn't send the rider in. Okay.
This would have been cool as G&T with GQ. I could have stole that. But you've
kind of got there.
I'm not a G&T drinker.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, cheers.
Yeah.
Thank
Cheers,
you for
guys.
joining me in good old Batley.
Cheers.
It's not my hometown anymore though, so.
You moved to
Yeah.
market.
Well, I've moved. I'm a housewife now. Is that nice?
It's absolutely fantastic.
As soon as I tasted it, I was like, I don't like G&T. It's tonic. I don't like.
It's a
Do you
tonic.
ever have dissolved paracetamol?
Oh, yeah.
That's what tonic tastes like to me.
Bloody Nora.
That's a tonic.
Can I really say,
Do you think
I
it's a Tesco
actually
tonic?
didn't buy that you as a birthday present. That
I
was
don't
Laura's
think
fault.
it's the gin, I think it's the tonic
No,
to
it's
blame
not the
today.
tonic.
No
Is it?
disrespect to Tesco tonic. I
Should've
promise
gone to Aldi.
next time I'll have a favourite treat.
You brought a substitute yourself, haven't you?
A substitute.
Substitute
Oh yeah.
for G&T.
Yeah.
What did you bring?
A bottle of red wine.
I myself am a woman now, and I do enjoy red wine these
You're a
days.
woman
Now, yeah.
Well, 'cause you-
When did you,
Well,
when
I
did
just
you go
feel
through
like
that
you're not,
operation?
You become a woman.
I just feel like you're not a fully grown woman until you enjoy a glass of red wine. And
Yeah.
the week I moved out, I enjoyed it. I was like, everything's lining up.
Yeah.
So I've been a woman for a long time.
Good job I remember where I was then. It was, yeah. The spin. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Go pass on that.
Yeah, well, I know that Carl got his warning from Gary before we started.
Yeah. Gary told me on the way up here I had to be nice to everybody. Because he was going to disown me.
This has to be the PC version of Carl.
So this is
Not
the
everybody.
this is the G&T GQ PC podcast.
Exactly.
Lots of initials.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
That's the one.
Brilliant. Great.
Well,
That's
I'll,
going to go down well.
Going with the initials, we'll go with B&B. Do you like that segue? And talk a bit about Buckle and Boots.
Go on then.
So, I feel like that's when I first, in fact I know that's when I first met you, the first year you launched, was it 2016?
Yep.
Yeah.
You probably won't remember this, but I remember it was my first country gig. I've been trying for ages, just showing up at gigs in Manchester. And then I applied for Buckle and Boots and I got on the paddock stage and I went to C2C and got ridiculously drunk with my friend Emily. And as I was leaving, I bumped into you and you were like, oh, this is Carl who's booked you for Buckle and Boots. And I was like, be professional. I was like, oh, really nice to meet you. And my friend who was drunk was like, festival? Book me for your festival. She don't sing. He was like, book me for your festival. I'll come and dance, and started like dancing at the time. And I remember thinking, I will kill her. My first introduction.
Huge impact you had on us.
Yeah. Very memorable.
It obviously did, it went in my favour. But that was your first year, so what made you want to start doing a country music festival in the UK?
No idea. It was Gary's idea.
Well, I'd always dreamt, from I was a young age to be in country music.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was looking around the UK, there weren't many platforms that were available. So I'd always had this feeling that I wanted to have a festival. When I envisaged it, I probably didn't envisage it as Buckle and Boots at the time because I'd never been there. But it was, I wanted a platform, an extra platform for other artists to kind of think, I want to play at that platform, that event. And then I got to play at Blackthorn Festival, which is a festival Karl had started with his daughter Laura. And we played that festival and got talking and kind of struck up a friendship. But as soon as we hit the site, I thought this would be a perfect place for a country festival because it's so picturesque. For anyone that's not been there, you really got to just go and see it. And it lent itself to me immediately that this would be the perfect setting for a country festival. And then I'll let you take it from there because then you called me a couple of months later.
Yeah, I think it was a bit like October time, wasn't it? And we met up in the Pizza Hut.
No, it was Pizza Express.
Pizza Express.
Gardens, that's right,
Yeah, with Charles came with us.
He did, yeah. And
we had
a bottle. He's a woman as well because he had a lot of red wine.
So we had, we drank red wine and ate pizzas, and then just said, oh, we'll just do it the year after. And so really, that's how easy it was and how quick it was to think that we could do it.
And like knowing you as I know you now, at the time it was like, it's not just as simple as we'll just do it. But knowing you, like knowing Karl now, when he puts his head to something, and he says he's going to do it, it's going to be done, and it's going to be done that way. So, in hindsight, I probably should have been more believing that it was going to happen at the time. But we kind of got it rolling pretty quick.
It wasn't difficult to do. We went to. We chatted about it, decided on sort of the format of trying to make it predominantly UK based, but the Americans we wanted to be Americans that didn't come touring, weren't big artists, weren't So other than Phil Vassar, who obviously was very successful,
Yeah, we needed a name.
a name, yeah. And he was brilliant, and you know, we've become friends since. But I think that was the whole philosophy of it, was to sort of give people, and that's how we did with Blackthorn, was give younger artists somewhere where they could go and perform on a stage that had good sound, good, you know, so the infrastructure was good, and so and it worked really well, and it didn't take long. I mean, the funny thing about country music, to me at the time, everybody who was into it was properly into country music, and they supported the fans, wanting to meet the artists, they were supporting the artists all the time. So that was the great thing. So if you're going to do a set of business up, what you want is a loyal fan base. So if you get all of a sudden this core of people that you know are going to go, then it helps.
Yeah,
so that was good. It was good fun.
It was, yeah, and there was a melting pot as well around that time. C2C had been going just a couple of years.
Yeah.
And there were a couple of festivals out there who were doing some good things. You know, FSA had been one of the first things that had started. But it was the pop-up stage at Country to Country that gave me a stronger idea of how we needed to support UK country artists, and that ethos transferred from Blackthorn, because that was really a big ethos for you guys there. And like you said, with the American artists that we want on the bill, we want you to come to Buckle and Boots and say, I heard them there first.
Yeah.
Or whether that's a UK
and I feel like that
American.
is something that happens there.
I think the interesting thing about it was the first time that happened was with
we had Morgan. We've had Morgan Evans.
Morgan Evans played, and then we had Fillmore.
Exploded.
You know, Lee Bryce came. Lewis Bryce, and so that was the interesting thing. It began with an L. I'm terrible with names.
I don't want Lee Bryce's people. Well, we never played there.
Yeah, well, we never asked him, to be fair.
Well,
so
he's working on it though.
Yeah. But I think that's the beauty of it, is trying to get. So when people walk away, they get, oh God, I love that, because I think that's a festival. To me, that's a festival, and it's slightly eclectic mix of sound as well.
Yeah.
And obviously, there's going to be people who say, "Oh, well, it tends to be the UK scene now." There is 6 or 7 people who are dominating that scene. So, like yourself and Kez, and there's like a few people that are, and so they are always going to be asked to play festivals.
Yeah.
You know, Gary's all right, but it's.
Not even playing this year?
Yeah, he's not even playing, and he got to pit. Well, that was funny, yeah. Nah, you're not playing. So I think
you email yourself, unfortunately, you have not been successful.
No, he never applied.
Didn't treat the card.
Yeah. So I think that's the beauty of it, and so it's now grown where people come in and just think, oh, they come into the festival regardless, because they appreciate we're going to always try and get good stuff there. They come to the festival and then are waiting to see who plays, rather than going to a festival because of the headliner or because of that. So that's great for us.
I think Buckle Boots does that really well. In like sometimes, like when I've been, I always stay all weekend, because you want to see, and like especially like the names that you haven't heard of, you're like, oh, we'll go check them out, and then that could be your next favourite artist that you just never heard of. And I think that's really good that you have like stages and showcase people kind of coming up, both like you say through the UK and from overseas as well. Like I know you're good friends with Sophie Hansen, and she was meant to play, wasn't she, before, and then she's coming over, and like over here I think that'll be a great step for her, because I think her voice is amazing.
It is incredible.
Like insane. And to see,
and she's lovely. Which is great.
And it's people like that like coming over that like really is going to kickstart people off, and then they can come over and do tours and build that fan base up.
Yeah, that's the plan. Even like for some of the Americans or Canadians that we bring over, that we want to give them a foothold, because they're going to be in front of a really hungry, eager, loyal audience, and if they put on a good show, those guys will stick with them. So we try and sell that really whenever we're booking artists too, that it's not just about this one event. You know, this is potentially looking, do you want to come back and work in the UK? And we actually put that in a lot of the emails that we send out, like we really want artists that are going to be keen to develop their presence here in the UK, rather than just take a payday and go and play one festival and disappear again, you know. So that what we found is majority of the people that we booked are into that.
I think this, it has worked really well, because a lot of the Americans who come over will stay for the weekend, which then the audience loves, because then they're just, they're walking about. And I always remember the first time that William Michael Morgan played, Jason Frost was there, and I said, Jason, sorry, you can talk to him. He said, I'm going to America next week and I paid $50 for a meet and greet with William Michael Morgan, and I'm having a beer here with him, and it's not costing me any money. So I mean, that's the beauty of it.
Yeah, I always like that. You can be watching someone, and then the next thing you know, you start having a dance with them. Like, there's one year, who was it? Was it Jen Bostic who was like up on the bar dancing?
Yeah.
Like after a set, and everyone was like,
I know somebody else that got up. Yeah.
We definitely won't talk about that.
Tune in next week and we'll give you somebody in footage.
But if artists buy into that, it's great. And the Americans who haven't bought into that haven't come back really.
Yeah.
There's one or two that we don't have to name that were tosspots.
Can see that.
But they haven't actually been back over to tour because they didn't get the benefit of meeting everybody.
Yeah.
But it's those moments that, like we were saying when Jen was on the bar, and we remember they'd already left site to go to their hotel, and people were ringing them, so you gotta come back, this is brilliant, this is kicking off, and all these people were coming back in taxis at about 1 a.m.
Yeah, but equally I think, like, as much as obviously it's about the music and that's amazing, the after parties as well are so good. Like it's part of the experience of going to the festival, I think, for the weekend. The fact that the artists do. One thing I love about books is you don't get people that is playing and just sit backstage and they don't mingle. They are out front. I mean, you've even had cases where you find them serving you beers, like they'll jump up bar and they're serving you, and it's great to have people mingled.
One of the first times we did that, I think it was an American Young or the two sisters and brother Canes.
The Canes.
It
was the Canes. Yeah.
Got them working behind the bar, and so then they were serving people and it was great. And then I'm just thinking to myself, they're actually not getting paid for any of this beer. So I had to go and say, it's great you serving, but can you actually ask for some money back of these people you're giving beer to? And there was bar staff everywhere, and everybody was queued in front of the canes because they weren't paying for beer. And they were all teetotal, which was funny.
Yeah, their dad's a pastor.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. So that was quite interesting. But we've done that with different festivals. We had Scorpio from the Sugar Hill Gang serving behind the bar. And he thought that was great. And he's a big boy, but it just, people love it.
Yeah.
So, and I think if you can do that as a festival, like, where everyone's going and just enjoying it and it's a laugh and it's something different.
Yeah.
I think we had you making cocktails for people and all that sort of stuff.
Feel sorry for whoever drank them.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But anyway, it's like the gin.
What?
Yeah.
I know I'm saying I don't like it, but I'm getting through it all right.
Oh no, you're doing all right. Yeah.
Gary told us before we started that he hasn't eaten much today, so I think if I pour him another one of them, we might get him to show some of those moves that were on on the bar from Jay. I saw the best video of you from C2C. We'll circle back and talk about C2C, but the most important part of the weekend was the video I saw of your Irish dancing.
Yeah. Max Bracklin was a lad dancer for it. It was his birthday that day, and we'd all had a few, and we were at the after party at C2C, and some absolute shapes were being thrown.
You can't dance. You are the only person that comes from Ireland who actually physically cannot dance.
I don't claim to say that I can.
No, because your legs don't belong to your body.
That's why it was so funny. Your legs were like elastic swinging about.
Yeah.
Michael Flatley. Flatley.
Yeah, maybe not.
There's some TV shows. Us Friends. What is it that scares Chandler or something? Michael Flatley's legs. It scares the bejesus out of him.
Just a reminder that you are listening to What's the G and T with me, Jane Helliwell. If you are enjoying the show, please do hit the follow button on Spotify and the subscribe button on YouTube.
That's what my legs are.
Well, aside from your amazing dancing, you obviously played at C2C 2 years in the waiting. Again, I mentioned it on the last podcast. For anyone who isn't involved in the country scene, C2C is one of the biggest festivals in the country calendar here in the UK, and it takes place.
By the way, you're not going to be playing there next year.
And they have the arena show, and then the pop-up stage that Gary mentioned earlier on, all around the arena. So did you play 2 times over the weekend?
There's 3 times over the weekend, so yeah, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and the pop-up stages there. And you'll play them, so the Icon stage as well, they had to move that this year.
Oh, yeah, 'cause the roof got blown off, didn't
The
it?
roof got blown off, yes.
Not by an amazing artist, by the Storms.
They moved it into the Observatory pub, but it still went down really well. And there's just so much going on down there.
Yeah.
You know, and you think that you're going to catch up with everybody, but
You never do, no. Well, you're too busy dancing.
of course.
Yeah.
What was it like, the atmosphere there after 2 years of everyone waiting to get back in? Could you feel like the buzz that everyone was just so happy to be back there?
Definitely. I mean, we gone down on the Thursday for the songwriter show.
I love that night.
And just prior to going into that, a few of us had met up and we were all eagerly anticipating what are the audience going to be like. And I felt that it was just going to be on fire because, like you said, they hadn't been there for 2 years.
Yeah.
What sort of reception was the first song going to get, all that sort of thing, and they blew the roof off.
Yeah.
And they had a really good lineup for that introducing stage as well. And Shy Carter done an amazing performance too. So we knew from then, you know, it was going to be an incredible weekend. And so right through up to the arena shows for all nights, it was really well received. There was a bit of trouble on the Sunday night at the Luke
I heard about that, yeah.
So I don't know what's going to happen with that, but I think they're looking at security for different things like that. But overall, the whole weekend, it was a great part to be down there again and experience a full weekend of shenanigans with country fans.
We had our shenanigans up in Glasgow and missed you at Country on the Clyde. So
I bet you missed me. Yeah, you were thinking about us the whole time.
I did miss you, you know, because usually, aside from Buckle and Boots, these guys team up with Luke from UK Country Live and they put on a weekend of music at the ferry in Glasgow called Country on the Clyde, and that kind of does what the pop-up stages do, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But in Glasgow, because Glasgow doesn't have the music on in the day, so these guys put on loads of country music throughout the day, Saturday and Sunday. And Gary normally hosts that and hosts the rounds, but because he was in Glasgow, being Luke's girlfriend, I got roped into the hosting. I feel like I didn't sit down. I was constantly watching me watch and be like, oh, the battery's dead. Really about like, what time do I get on? What time do I get off? And I'm not a host, like, I don't compare. So.
No, but I think you did really well.
Yeah,
you did a great job.
And not just from these guys, from a lot of audience people.
Yeah, no, you did a really good job.
Well, thank you. Except for the after party where I didn't take the job too serious and I got ready drunk in the arena. So by the time that started, I was just like.
Brilliant. That's probably the best way to do that.
You know what the funniest thing was? Kevin Maguire is obviously based in Glasgow. He came down and helped me host the after party. We were having a great time and set up a mic for some live music. Matt Hodges got up and sang and everyone was loving it. And we went backstage and I was like, what do you want to sing? Should we do something together? And Kevin's like, why don't we do Diane? You know it, Luke can play it. We'll just sing two parts. I was like, yeah, let's do that. And I went, I've got it on this playlist. I'll go take it off. So I marched onto the stage, removed from playlist, came back in dressing room like, so we're sat there and oh, I'm like, I promise I did. What's happening here? I was like, and he was like, you didn't take it off the playlist, you obviously pressed Q. I was like, no, I didn't. I pressed remove from playlist.
Can I just say, there was an argument for about 2 hours the following day about what Jade had actually pressed.
I think it's not a confession, but I think it would be acceptable to assume that I was very drunk and maybe from my one eye, I pressed Q instead of remove, maybe.
Hey?
I'm just saying you're accustomed to it.
Yeah. I can watch you call it. Yeah, why don't you carry on?
That's why you're not a DJ.
Yeah, that's why I don't DJ. I'd be knackered. What do you do? Which button am I supposed to press? I can't even turn my phone off.
That's so true though.
Yeah, he's just set to turn my phone off. It's now on, what's it on?
It's on
Airplane
mode.
Plane mode.
It's like, I want to do it, but this thing keeps popping up. I'm like, that's Siri. Turn it off.
Anyway.
But it went well. I think the after party was fun though, wasn't it? It was a good addition for the.
It was really good. Gary knows firsthand that I'm not an arena person.
Just on that, we were at this CMA Awards in Nashville, and Garth Brooks making a comeback, and I look over to say how amazing this is, and he's sleeping.
Oh my god! He was sleeping at sea to sea.
At Bridgestone Arena, right? That's Garth doing his thing. And so we've gone through the whole awards. I'm there trying to nudge him to get up. Had to do it 3 times. Everyone the day after is talking about Pink's amazing performance at the CMA Awards. And he's like, Pink wasn't there? It's a country show. You were sleeping.
Laura rang me up and said, what did you think of Pink? So she didn't play last night. No, she did. Oh, no, I didn't see that either.
So yeah, you're not an arena person.
I'm not an arena person, so... But Country on the Clyde I really enjoyed. The after party I thought was great fun. And I think in Scotland it's slightly less corporate than London.
Yeah.
So I prefer that. And you get to see, because it's slightly smaller, so you get to see more people that you can chat to and everything else. So I thought that was good. But what I would say is that I think C2C to AEG and Live Nations and SJM and everything, they did a really good job of getting the lineup, because it must have been an absolute nightmare.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You know, and then we get slightly frustrated when people moan about something. You just think, wow, do you realise how hard that would be?
Oh, God,
and
yeah.
how much time and effort it would take to get that. So hats off to those guys, they did a great job.
Definitely, yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't like to be the guy who was trying to liaise that.
And then the week before, half the roof blowing off, thinking, oh my God, if the rest of it blows off, it's going to have to be, you know. So they did. Everybody should be really thankful that they stick to it and did a great
definitely.
job.
Yeah, that lineup was great. Obviously, we only saw the bits that we could get to in between the Country on the Clyde and the after party and stuff. My biggest regret is that I couldn't make it for Tennille Towns, because I am a bit obsessed with her. But what we did see, Brett Young, I love Brett Young. We got to see his entire set. That was really good. Who else did we see? Oh, Darius Rucker, who I'll admit, I like Darius Rucker, but I've never been like, oh yeah, I really want to see him. And we were outside and we were exhausted. I was like, I'm so tired, slash hungover. I was like, Air the dog working, should we just go home? And Luke was like, yeah, if you want to. Oh, should we just have one more? And then Darius starts. I was like, well, we may as well watch a set. Oh my God, it was fantastic. And then I was so pumped afterwards. Kevin was like, let's go in here for a beer. When I don't know what time. We ended up going into Glasgow.
There's no way that we're
stayed
going
out
home.
till closing.
We went into this bar, we came out, then Kevin said you can go into this bar. So we went into the bar, then they kicked us out, and these two, and Kevin, and his...
Kevin had his friend.
Yeah, his friend. They all said, oh, we're going out. I said, look, I've got to go to bed. So we went back, and these lot...
We went to a place called Box in Glasgow. You'll have been there after gigs for drinks. It was great. They had a live band on doing like bandioke. So I'm one of them people, I think I discussed it briefly, when I'm sober and there's like karaoke, so I'm like, it's not my place, like I do this for a living, stay away. When I'm drunk, I'm like, get my name down!
Exactly, that's it.
But they were playing like blues, like it was really like Indian blues stuff, like cool music. Me and Kevin went down, we're like, me, you, Islands in the Stream.
Yeah.
Put it down. They kept not calling us up, and I kept going back to the front and getting the list. I'm like looking through pad.
Oh,
Like,
should have been proper
where are
boogie
we?
as well, yeah.
Where are we?
Oi,
and they
oi.
were like, we'll come to you. We'll come to you. I'd sit back down and like.
This very quiet, retired
They're not like
Yorkshire girl.
Yeah.
She would.
No. It ended up being there about 3 hours. They never got us up. I'm like, that man came in after me and he's up on stage before me. Why are we still not up? Have a word with sound engineer, and then Kevin would have a word and be like, why aren't we up? And I was like, do you think it's a song choice? Do you think they've got something? We're like, it is absolutely the song choice.
I bet you
Absolutely.
just sang it at the back of the car.
Yeah.
I was like,
We'll just go
God, it
for
was
it.
like, I don't know what words. I was like, get your phone out. I was like, it's fine. Let's on 1, 2, 3. And then we're over the top.
Brilliant.
Yeah, we're gutted when I got home, but I'm more gutted when I woke up Monday morning and we had to pack and go home, and I was severely hungover.
Well, you got Laura and I were in a room next to these two, and Jan and Helen were in a room. And so, as we were going down for breakfast, I knocked on their door, not thinking anything would happen. Walked slightly past, and about 10 feet later, you saw this little head stick out the door. Are you going for breakfast? Yeah, we'll be down. That was it. And so, but it was a great weekend. I mean, and it's and the after party, which was the first time we'd ever done that, which was pretty cool. And
Is that the first time we've done an after party?
Well, we did it at the last one, but it wasn't.
Yeah, no, it wasn't an after
like
party
a
as a
planned, party night.
Don't interrupt me. So
Well, it was. That's why me and Luke both organised it while we were up there that weekend.
But that was that was bands playing. This was just a DJ. Or this was just Jade.
Okay.
DJ and
and Kevin.
Yeah. But the videos Looked great.
That was good fun. They were great. It was a really good.
And also, what an honest audience. So I forgot about this. Iona brought a phone to me and said, I found this on the floor, someone's dropped it. So I was like, oh, like, you've handed this in, like, you know, certain places would have been like. So I was like, I thought, how do you sort this? I'm the security, so the only thing I was like, if you could tell me what the screensaver is, you can have it back. Someone came up and described it, I was like,
God, bugger.
yes. I handed it back out, I was like, I shouldn't have been in charge of that. I was too drunk to be handing out people's personal possessions.
But I think the interesting thing is, over the years doing festivals, what we found is people in general that go to festivals are incredibly honest.
Well, look what happened at Buckle and Boots.
And also we've had literally handbags handed back in with money and beer tokens and stuff like that, and nothing taken. You know, you're always, when you get a big group of people, you're always going to have scallywags. There's always going to be someone who thinks that. But I think in general, people who are festival goers are pretty honest and know themselves. Look, we've all been there, dropped my wallet, so they just hand them back in. We literally get dozens and dozens of stuff. And especially now, which I would think is a bit weird, when you can tap your card.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I can find a card and go to the bar and buy beer.
Yeah.
You know, and it's quite frightening that.
Yeah.
But actually the amount of stuff that's given back at festivals is incredible.
Yeah.
So I think most people are pretty straight.
honest.
Yeah, and I think that's lovely.
A similar experience myself on St. Patrick's Day. Went to Nash, because where else are you going to go? Lost my lipstick. I don't even...
To be fair, I don't think that's the same thing, really.
It was a Mac. I just went up to Consec, I was like, I'm going to need this. Ladies and gentlemen, can I have your attention? And I was like, there's been a lost item in the club, a MAC lipstick. It were even, God is my word, I only just had it like that. A woman came up like, I've got your lipstick. I was like, the Nash has delivered.
Did she have the
yet
same
again.
coloured lips as you then?
No,
She tried it out.
Try, how your lipstick? I was like, a lipstick found in the Nash.
Yeah. To be fair, I would have used it again. Yeah, no.
I did think about that, but I was already drunk then by that point, so I was layering it back on. I was like, ugh, well, the
You've got
use layer's
COVID
gone
now
now,
anyway,
and I ain't got, well, it could do actually. I've been coughing a bit.
Have you?
I had my jab on Saturday, my booster.
Right.
Because I'm off to Portugal next month, and you know, got to be jabbed up for your travelling. So I had my booster, but ever since I've been a bit like COVID-y.
Yeah. It can take 2 or 3 days, can't it?
My arm's been killing. Luke kept forgetting and like nudging me on arm. I was like, I swear to God, do it one more time.
He wasn't forgetting, he knew exactly what he was doing.
It's an excuse.
Proper dead arm. I couldn't shave my armpit properly yesterday. I had to like pin it against the wall and sneak the razor in.
In truth,
I don't know if
that's
that's too much information.
You know what I mean? That's one of those things that probably we don't need to know.
Yeah.
I'm glad you shared it with
the
us.
takeaway from this is I have very smooth armpits now. So, it's
Because you can lift your arm.
solid.
I'm okay.
You're cuddling it at a minute.
Yeah.
Oh no, we
Okay at the minute.
You
Yeah.
gone? You're for a man who gagged at every mouthful.
But to be fair, I'd actually prefer red wine.
You can have a red wine then.
Thank you.
But I ain't got any, so you have to buy your own.
Just I have my.
We'll get the assistants in.
Yeah, we can get my assistant's coming.
Very excellent.
It's a very nice red wine, actually.
Big glass of red wine.
This is my. This is a Christmas present.
Aww.
Disclaimer. When we'd finished filming, I did knock this glass over and spill. Very awkward. Apologies, Carl. Merry Christmas.
When I was on my way to Country on the Clyde, we picked Luke's mum up. And I was like, oh, should have got a couple of drinks for Carniers. And she just was like, I've got some wine with me. I was like, oh, right. And I thought she was saying, I've got some wine. Next thing I felt this on my shoulder. When I looked round, she had a full-on glass. She poured me a glass of red wine for the car. I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
This is the
She
business I
knows
want.
how
She
to drink
knows.
red wine.
Definitely. She's who got me on it. Because the day we moved in, his mum and dad came over and it was very hectic. And by the time I sat down, Luke was like, haven't you been to the supermarket and got drinks in? I was like, at what point? Like, at what point am I going to the supermarket? And his mum was like, just have a little bit of my red wine, and I don't like it, but I thought, it's better than water, so I'll have a splash of that. He enjoyed it. I was like, it's because I'm a woman today. That's why I like the red wine.
You see, I don't like Laura drinking red wine because then she'd drink more than I can, and then Jan drinks whiskey, so I keep Laura on gin, and then all the way.
Well, Laura actually said to me this week, and I said I quite like red wine now. I said I've only tried a couple, but I do like them. I like that. Is it Jam Shed? It's called the Jam.
Yeah.
That's the one my favourite. I went, I quite like red wine, and Laura said to me, listen, I don't have a problem when you come into my house and drinking my gin, but you can stay away from my red wine. But she's got the best gin collection.
Oh no, she has.
I have ever seen. I thought I had a good collection going on.
She's
Not
about
just 2 bottles. I've got a cupboard.
She'll have over 50 different gins.
That's madness. Does she know what best mixes with them? I'm gonna have to get.
Oh,
You know
she's
what?
had what
I
to call
love you
it.
too, but it should
Once
be
she's-
Laura on here mixing
She's got what
gins.
to call it. She's got one now which is truffle. But when we went away, she hid it. So people that are staying in her house that will know who they are, won't mention them. She hid it so they didn't drink it. That was the only one.
It's like
she
I
let
have
hid.
to hide sweets in the house so they won't drink them.
Yeah. Chocky biscuits.
I actually intentionally. Is this a thing that like you do in life, or am I a selfish person? I intentionally buy like white chocolate because I know Luke don't like it, so then I can get to eat it all to myself.
No, Jan does that.
Do you like white chocolate more than?
No, she doesn't. Yeah. She just buys it because he doesn't eat
Big
it.
Bang Milky Bar is my favourite, but Luke don't like that, so I buy that intentionally.
That's not
Right, let me just tell you this. When Laura was a kid, Jan bought all her Easter eggs, and because she used to think I ate them, she decided to hide them under the bed. So all the chocolates. And the dog ate it all
Oh my.
and was ill. And I had to pay for the vet fee. So I said, karma.
Yeah.
Karma.
Oh,
I should have just let me eat her Easter egg.
I really want a dog.
Because I told Laura that she shouldn't eat chocolate when she was a kid, so I had to have it. So Laura used to give me her Easter
You-
eggs.
Weren't you kind?
And that's worse than me buying
I know, I
white
just told her
chocolate
it was bad for
intentionally.
her. No, I told her it was bad for her. So she'd
So
give
you
me her
can
Easter
have it.
eggs. Yeah.
Brilliant.
I'm going to write that down. Parenting.
Yeah.
Tell children
Oh,
chocolate is bad.
nice. That's what you've got to do.
Calling social services, me.
Yeah.
Was it? I've reached that age where my bones need cracking, you know what I mean? 30s now.
Drinking red wine, cracking bones.
And you know what else I said? So the day we recorded with Kezia was the day after we'd moved in. I was like, I'm a woman now, I drink red wine, and I've moved out, and all I need to do is get on M62. Well, let me tell you now,
Have you been?
I went on M62.
There you go. Hold on.
Albeit it was a 10-minute
On your own?
journey at night when there was not any other cars around and 2 lanes were closed. But I went on. I did it.
In your own car?
Yeah, Luke was outside of me. I had
Oh,
no
was
choice because he was over limit, you see. He came to my gig and he had a few beers and I was like, you'll drive home. And I was like, yeah. And he was like, not the way you normally go, Jade. We don't live there anymore. It's a very long journey. You'll have to get yourself on M6. I'm more than M62 and I was like,
Oh, good girl.
I was like, I don't know. And when we got off, he was in hysterics. He was like, look at you. I'd literally like gone from driving like this to driving like this. Pitch black. And he actually kept saying to me, stop looking at your speed. I was like, when I got off, my palms were sweating.
A couple of years ago, we had when Willie came to stay at the farm, and he obviously in the States they drive on the wrong side of the road. So we'd driven. I don't know where we'd gone. We'd gone to Marple, I think, which is near us.
We were coming back from Birmingham.
But he was in my car, so he said, "Can he drive?"
Yeah.
So I got him. So he was driving my car, and we're driving down this road. I said, "Willie, you're on the wrong side." So he literally went to his side of the road and was driving down. I said, "I was only kidding," and he swung right back over to our side of the road.
That's it. That was brilliant.
I point blank will never drive in America. Would not do it. Those roads are too big, too fast.
Oh, it's a lot of
and
cars.
people drive crazy. When we were last there, we stayed over in Murfreesboro. We were coming on the what's it called, the highway, just to get into Nashville. And I'm not joking, a woman was pulling on, no hands on wheels, just eating a bowl of cereal. I was like, that's why I don't trust roads. So it's not myself I don't trust, it's other drivers pulling shit like that. Can't have a bowl of cereal at wheel. I can't even touch radio when I'm driving.
We went over a couple of years ago and we had a couple of spare days on a weekend. Remember, we were down in Morton, and we've gone up to see Phil Vassar. And in the space from going from Nashville up towards where Phil lives in Franklin. We just thought, what are we going to do this weekend? You know, there's nothing happening. So he just said, well, why don't we go to Austin? And we could go to
New Orleans
as well. I'm like, yeah, that sounds great. Everybody we told though, we're like, that's crazy. You can't do that.
So no, we were at Phil Lasseter's and we're having lunch.
You're not serious.
We're having lunch and there was loads of people there. We're just chatting. What are you doing now? Oh, we're off to New Orleans.
Yeah. He's like, no.
Nah. You know, we are. So we left there at about 1 o'clock and we drove down to...
Booked the B&B.
Yeah, booked it.
On the way.
Went out in New Orleans at the night time.
You and Dan were in bed for 10 o'clock with your bedroom slippers and PJs on.
New Orleans is a funny place though.
That was fine.
No, it was
fine.
No.
I really liked
it's a bit
going to
dodgy.
New Orleans.
No, I didn't like it.
Well, it was dodgy because they were tearing up the middle of the road and then the paths were only like that.
Yeah, it was a bit weird. So we went there and then the next day I got up and it was only me driving.
Went to Austin then.
And then we drove to Austin.
Done the same thing. Went out to Austin. I went to steak dinner on the way down.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, that was alright.
Went out
and there was a bit weird. No, there was an anti-animal thing in the saying you can't eat animals. I was thinking, right, okay, that's we're in big trouble now.
That's your
so I had to go and chat to him and just tell him, look, what's wrong with eating beef? And then we went and then drove back to Nashville.
You went to bed at 10 o'clock that night.
I didn't go to bed at 10 o'clock, it was 10:30. And then we went and then drove back, which was 12 and a half hours.
Yeah, you done well.
No.
But we had Dan Ward at the time, was only relatively young, and his dad said, look, you'll look after him, won't you? So yeah. So when we got back here, dropped Dan off in Birmingham, and his dad was there, and he said, the first thing he said to me, he said, I was clocking you were doing 120 kilometres an hour when you were driving up that road. How did you know that? But it was a long way. Gary just said, you're on this road now for, as a sat nav, you're on this road now for 615 miles. And it was like just...
Well, just what you were saying with how vast the road, like there's 4 lanes either side.
It was just
in the middle.
Wacky races.
Yeah, but whenever... You were saying like you just get lost in it.
Yeah.
You just switch off.
Yeah.
And you don't realise you're hurtling down the road at 120 miles an hour.
But everybody's going at the same speed.
So it doesn't feel like you're going fast, but one small move and you're toast.
Yeah.
But after saying that tonight on the way here, because we had a dodgy sat nav guy, so we came up to the bottom of the road here and we turned right and he said, we shouldn't have done that. So I drove down this road, U-turn, came back up, it's a one-way street. So I came back up this one-way street, people flashing, I'm just saying, look, alright, made a mistake. I'm just going to go there, chill your beans.
Yeah.
So came back up this one-way street.
That wasn't the language you were using.
And I'm in Laura's car.
Oh yeah?
Oh.
Yeah.
Why shouldn't have said that?
Oh no, sorry, I wasn't in Laura's car.
Should be checking now, like.
Yeah,
My car
I was in my own car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Couldn't you turn to that?
My problem with the motorway, I feel like I'd probably have the confidence to do it if I were drunk, but then obviously you can't get drunk and drive, so...
That's not
if I'd had a few beers, I'd be like, I'm confident, let's do it, but it wouldn't end well, would it?
No.
So, I'll stick to the town streets, to the McDonald's
bicycle,
drive-through, Tesco's car park.
Yeah.
I'll stick to Uber.
Yeah.
I just want to take this chance to tell you all about my Kickstarter campaign that I have launched. Head to jadehelliwell.com or Instagram at jadehelliwellofficial or Facebook at jadehelliwellofficial to find out more about it. I'm basically raising money to be able to go into the studio and record a whole new EP. So I can't do that without the help of you guys. There's some really amazing things that you can pitch for on there. Go ahead and check it out. And yeah, let's do it. We've got 31 days to smash the goal.
I'm gonna pour another gin here.
I'm okay, thanks.
Is it the tonic or the gin you don't
Tonic.
like?
Honestly, the best way to describe it
I have to
is
start
like
getting some
different of
Up your game.
I am. So, aside from Buckle and Boots, you do a couple more, well, you host a couple more events at the farm. Well, obviously you do your weddings and stuff, don't you? But what are the other festivals that are coming up next year?
So next year, Buckle and Boots is first. Then we do Crack by the Creek, which is the Irish festival, which is...
Do you feel like you're at home at that one?
That was crazy. Honestly,
it was mental.
And it was one of the first.
It was the first festival.
It was the first. So like, there's 3.
After the
4,000 people just all hugging each other, and I must have bumped into about 25 people from Tyrone.
Yeah,
Wow.
but can I just say, if you speak to someone Irish and you meet someone else Irish, they live next door to each other.
That's not quite true, but it did happen at this festival, to be fair.
Honest to God, it's yeah,
I had the same thing in Nashville. Do you remember Colin Kerwin?
yeah. No,
And I'm trying
weird.
to dispel this.
If the
theory.
amount of people that were Irish who have left Ireland actually ever were Irish and ever left Ireland, there is more Irish people in the world than any other nationality. They would knock the Chinese into a cock hat because millions of them. And most of them have got nothing to do with Ireland.
That's our plan. We're
That will be-
invading the world in a
Someone
different
said to
way.
me on Thursday, like, you're not even Irish. I'm like, oi, my grandma's from Sligo, that makes me
Exactly.
Irish. This is my time to celebrate.
Anyway,
Could
so
sing along to a single Irish song.
so we've got Buckle and Beats. To answer your question, Buckle and Beats, Crack by the Creek. What's the next one? Firestorm.
Right,
Which
Is that the new one?
The new rock one. So that's Firestorm. Because we did Rock by the River last year and we combined it with the Bikers Rally, which is a big van rally. And it was quite interesting. I thought that would work, but it didn't work because bikers didn't want to go to a festival that wasn't only bikers. And people who wanted just to come and see tribute bands didn't want to go because it was bikers. It was like a quite
Do you
a weird
remember?
thing.
I came to that festival.
You did.
Do you remember I saw someone with a harness? I was like, I want to get on back of that bike.
Yeah.
So you took me over. You're like, she wants to ride on your bike, and he was like, get on, love. And his mate just grabbed me and he went, you're not getting on that bike. And I was like, we're gonna have a scrap. Why? What's up? And he was like, he's had too much to drink. Walk away. And I thought, wow, he were dead serious. I just like
They're lovely.
backed up and I kept thinking, imagine Luke's just stood having a pint and I come past. My hair blowing in the wind. He was like, he'd had too much. You know, I was like, it's private land, and he was like, no.
Yeah, they're a great bunch of people. They were, you know, a lot of them would frighten you to death if you met them outside that. But they're lovely.
Yeah.
So we're gonna have Firestorm, which is, but it's not tribute. It's rock bands. So that's quite interesting. Then we've got Moving, which is it's probably the biggest festival we have,
Bank holiday weekend
which
on
is Hacienda stuff and all that sort of stuff. And then for the first time ever, we're going to have it's the Bully Dog Champions of Champions. So it's any bulldog breed, and we're going to have that on the farm.
A dog show.
So it's a
There'll
massive
be
dog
dogs
show.
everywhere.
There's going to be a lot of dogs everywhere, but only bulldog breeds, which will be quite interesting to see how that goes. And then we have.
And you've got your
How many
masquerade
bulldog
ball.
breeds
Oh,
are there?
we've got a mask. Oh, Laura's going to be upset.
You better.
So, anybody watching this, the Masquerade Ball, 25th of June,
I've seen
is the
this on
event to go to.
Instagram. Do I have to wear like a gown?
Yeah.
You've got to be.
And you have to have a
it's-
mask. You're
You've
not
got to have
getting
a
in.
mask,
You're not getting in.
gown, and wellies you could wear.
Best Luke has a mask.
But you've got to do that.
I
just
concur.
thinking, just a gown would be great.
Yeah.
So that'll be really cool. That'll be a cool
Yeah,
event. Laura's is, and we've got Murphy's
Celtic
Celtic
Legacy, is it?
Legacy,
Yeah.
which is basically Lord of the Dance sort of stuff.
Shut up.
And
Oh,
they're
yeah.
going to be
You'll
cool.
be up,
Oh,
you,
listen,
with them
after a few
legs.
beers, I'll be flying out there. They don't know that yet, but I'll be there.
He's been banned from coming. so yeah, it's a busy year. Lots of weddings and stuff, and so yeah, all good. Busy.
Like how much in advance to get booked? Because one day Luke will ask me to marry him, and we do want to get married at the farm. So
So
maybe I'll
2024.
tell Luke to get something penciled in if you get booked up that someone in advance.
I think we're now booking. Yeah, weddings is 2024.
Wow.
24.
So I'll sort of any particular date you want, I'll book it in now, and then he's got a bit of time.
He's strategically got his head down.
Yeah.
I'll let you all
He's
know.
not listening.
Head's down,
Deafening
ears
silence here
off.
from the corner of the room.
But by then you'll have met someone better anyway, so it'll be fine.
Well, he keeps
Yeah,
going on
quick
tour
enough.
and leaving me, so...
Yeah.
Book it in yourself. Book it in.
Yeah,
and
just book it in.
Gotta set
And then
rules.
just find someone.
You gotta set
Yeah.
rules.
If it's not
I'll
Luke,
tell
it'll
him
be someone
it's a
else.
gig, like, I'll book as a gig at farm. Wear a suit.
Don't forget the suit. I've got my ring.
Well, I feel like I'm chewed your ear off. for the entire episode, but thank you for coming to Batley,
Oh, it's been good
having
fun.
a
It's been
gin
good fun.
and a
Yeah,
wine,
yeah.
chatting to me
It's good.
about the festival, and obviously we've touched on like you played at C2C and Gary's an artist, and you've got some new music coming out, haven't you?
Yeah, so I have a new single coming out now in April, so April 15th. So yeah, excited about that. We've been using that coming soon if anyone wants to follow us on at Gary Quinn Music, all the social handles. So
Yeah.
please do.
And I do love all your music, but I especially love your new stuff. But you know, I'm a big country pop. I need some pop, country pop fan. And I think the newer stuff, like my favourite is Nobody Somebody.
Thank you.
Like I think that, and like the production Richard gets is so good. So I'm very excited to hear
Yeah,
your
Rich
stuff.
has been good. He's we actually met him through Buckland Boots. You discovered Sophie and he wanted to get him over. We've done a writer's tour here in the UK, and we've become really good friends since. So it's really good working with Richard because you're on a level where you're friends, but you go into the studio as professionals.
Yeah.
But you still have that friendship that allows you to speak your mind.
Yeah.
I don't know what you're like with any other producer you've worked in the past, but you kind of feel like you just want to be led.
Yeah.
And you don't want to pipe up and say, listen, this is the way I think it should go. But Richard's really, really good at that. He wants the best for the song and he wants the best for you. So
Yeah.
And also I think when you've got that relationship with someone, they don't mind. You just say, actually, can we just do that a bit again, or can we just tweak
Yeah.
that? And they're not offended by it, and it's a partnership rather than you going and someone saying, look, this is what
Yeah.
you need to do. This is what you've got to have.
Weirdly, as well as an artist, like I'm very much I won't say shy person.
I wouldn't say that.
No. We wouldn't say that at all.
But, I'm quite like I avoid confrontation of any sort. So I've been in the past, like you say, like you kind of sit like, oh yeah, and you're thinking I don't say anything. But I've learned to just if with my music, like if I don't like something or I don't agree with it, you have to speak up, because otherwise it'll just haunt your entire career.
Absolutely.
And the only thing we have is that's the art that we create. So you have to be able to be comfortable enough to say, I would prefer it if we do it this way, or we do this song, or we don't have piano on this, and things like that. Just little simple things that to someone might be like, oh, that's not a big deal, but to you it's a really big deal to make sure that you stand up for exactly how you want it. Because when you're writing them songs as a guitar, and you notepad or your laptop, whatever, in your head you've got the full production, you've seen the video and the artwork, and everything needs to line up to.
I do think that's the important thing, because in lots of stuff, you see this vision of how you want it to be, and that's how you want it to be. Now, someone might have a different opinion, but if it's yours, you just say, look, I want it like this, and you stand by that. Now, you might actually be wrong. It doesn't matter.
Yeah,
because that's what
you're happy with
that's
it.
it. And I think we do it at home, and the way that we want stuff to go with events and stuff we do at home. And people say, oh no, you need to do this. And we say, no, this is how I want it.
Yeah.
And if it's wrong, that's down to me.
Yeah, that's it. It's on you, but at least you stood by what you.
That's what I want. That's how I want. That's how I see it. And I think that's really important. And everybody doing any business has always got to say, look, this is what I want to do, and I'll stand or fall by that decision. But it's mine.
Definitely.
This is mine.
I suppose the problem if you're starting out in the game, and I've been in this a while as a view, so finding your own voice and your confidence for it is something that you have to learn, I suppose. So in the times I've gone into recording studios or not spoke my mind, it's because you're trusting that person and their knowledge, because I don't know it all.
Yeah.
Whereas you get to a point that you find your own voice, you find your own sound, and you feel more confident and comfortable to voice your opinion on it. But still utilise their knowledge of, I don't know how Richard gets his sounds, but I know how I want it to sound.
Yeah.
So that kind of comes with time, and I suppose even with the festivals and stuff, like at the very beginning would have been led by you, because that's what you've done, and then you've been more involved in it, you ask opinions, and it's allowed me to voice moving forward and stuff. So it has to be that kind of partnership that you have to work in tandem with someone, and if you felt like you've been bullied or like kind of led in some way, and that doesn't just have to be music. I think it's where you have to kind of question what's going on.
It's just
like,
life.
Yeah, definitely. Well, cheers to that, and thank you for coming on.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you very much.
And thank you for tuning in, and we will see you all in the next episode. Don't forget, if you are watching the version on YouTube, to hit the subscribe button to make sure that you don't miss any future episodes, and also press the follow button on Spotify to make sure you see them all. And also, I did put a post out the other day, so if there's someone you want to see on this podcast, then do let me know, and we will see if we can make it work. Cheers.
I vouch for Luke Thomas.
Nah, I don't.
Thank you so much for tuning in to this episode of What's the G and T with me, Jade Helliwell. Huge thank you to Karl Hancock and Gary Quinn for being my guests on the show. As mentioned throughout, they run various festivals, including Buckle and Boots, so if you want to find out about that and get tickets to any of the events that they run throughout the year, go ahead and find them at Buckle and Boots on Facebook and Instagram, or head to White Bottom Farms events on Google. It'll take you to the website and you can see all the stuff they're having. Or hey, if you're looking for a wedding, it's a great venue, check it out. Go ahead and check out Gary Quinn on social media. You can find him on Instagram, at Facebook, at Gary Quinn Music, and go and search his name on Spotify to hear all the amazing music that he is putting out. And as he mentioned, he has a brand new single on the way. As I mentioned, I do have a Kickstarter campaign running at the minute. Please do go ahead and check that out. There are amazing things that you can pitch to get, from physical items to experiences, and every single penny counts towards that end goal. We have 31 days to raise it, or it's an all or nothing campaign. If we don't raise it all, we get nothing at all. So please do go ahead and check that out. Thank you to Tomography for coming down again and getting some pictures behind the scenes of this episode, and to Luke Thomas for producing the show. Once again, if you have enjoyed it, please do go ahead and press subscribe on YouTube, press follow on Spotify, and make sure that you don't miss a future episode. We'll see you all again soon.